Well, let's get some broader regional analysis now. Mehran Kamrava joins us from Doha. He's a professor of government at Georgetown University in Qatar. We appreciate your expertise here on the News Hour. Start by giving us your perception. Iran says this operation is over. Israel says it's reserving the right to respond when and how it sees fit. From your point of view, is this a pause? Is this the end, or is this just the beginning?
I'm afraid it's not the end, and I think it's a temporary pause. We've seen Netanyahu have a penchant for overreaction, and given his own domestic political predicament, I don't think he can let this go unanswered by Iran. Let's not forget, incidentally, that this was Iran's response and retaliation to an attack by Israel on its diplomatic premises in Damascus. So as far as the Iranians are concerned, deterrence has been established, but I don't think that's how the Israelis see it. And I think there is tremendous political pressure on Netanyahu, particularly, as we just heard, from the right flank of his own very tentative coalition, to engage in some sort of response against Iran.
What impact do you think that this security situation is going to have on Israel's diplomatic willingness to re-engage with ceasefire talks?
I think this was a gift to Netanyahu, because right now we have all forgotten about the ongoing genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. And the mass killing of Palestinians, both in Gaza as well as in the West Bank. You know that there was this rampage and pogrom of villages in the West Bank by settlers a couple of days ago, and none of us are talking about it. The world's attention is now focused between Iran and Israel, and as a result, my sense is that the Palestinians continue to be the net losers of the latest round of conflict.
Heard a delay now is going to be in place on the Rafah offensive. Is this because Israel's needed to divert some of its military assets elsewhere, or is Netanyahu finally listening to international calls to not attack this safe zone for refugees?
I think it's a little of both. I think we're now seeing not just Israel, but Germany, its steadfast ally, being taken before the International Court of Justice. And I think the international costs, reputational costs for Israel and its allies is becoming prohibitive. And of course, if Israel were to invade Rafah, as it's been threatening for the last month or so, the number of Palestinian casualties and deaths is only going to skyrocket beyond the unfathomable proportions that we have now. And so I think it's, on the one hand, it's the reputational costs or the additional costs of bearing the brunt of or bearing the costs of committing genocide. It's the morale of the soldiers, Israeli soldiers. It is ensuring that they are ready, and Israeli army is ready for a response for further action against Iran. So I think it's a combination of factors that has given Netanyahu and the war cabinet pause. And in fact, what we've seen is a steady retrenchment and movement of soldiers out of Gaza and the main theater of conflict.
Mehran Kamrava, we appreciate your analysis on all of those issues. Thanks for being with us here on the News Hour.